Having studied the concept of spacity as a theory, let us summarize it now. What we realized during the discussion about spacity is that it is wrong on our part to attribute vacuum to the outer space and then to say that outer space is at absolute zero pressure. True absolute zero pressure will be when you remove all the masses from the universe, when you reach the state of nothingness. That would be the true absolute zero pressure. As long as there is matter in the universe, there will be density. Density is kg per cubic meter. When there is density, there is pressure, kg per square meter, and the force is not far behind. And we also studied why does this spacity or space pressure exist, which is when we studied how space reacts with every other element of the universe. We saw that there is a tussle between energy and space, and since mass is another form of energy, every mass is acted upon. Hence the mandate of the space is to bring the masses together and act on them. So how does the spacity exercise its mandate? Depending on the various conditions that the masses are in. They could be just one or a pair or multiple of them, or the masses could be static or in motion, or it could be a system of masses in motion. So we had seen three forces, which are basically S1, S2 and S3. Let us study each one, summarize each one. S1 came up from the mandate of acting on them. It is a holding pressure. As you can see here, I have shown you all the possibilities. S1 is the pressure which is acting on the entire surface of the mass. That is why we call it as holding pressure. There is no kinetic energy imparted to it, because everywhere the forces will get cancelled. Now this one would be directly proportional to the mass it is acting on, and S1 is the highest on the surface of the mass that it is acting on. As you move away from the surface, the S1 reduces because the spacity or pressure also reduces, and this is inversely proportional to the cube of the distance that you move away from the surface, because it's volume. And as we can see here, S1 is acting on every mass irrespective of how small it is. It could be a planet, star, galaxy, or even a molecule. So it acts on all the masses. Now coming to the second one, S2, this S2 pressure derives its mandate from bringing masses together. So when you have a pair of masses, I have shown only one pair. So this S2 is trying to bring these masses together, and this acts on every permutation and combination of all the masses which are there. That means this S2 is not just acting on this pair, but on this pair, this pair, this pair, all possible permutations and combinations. And S2 is a moving pressure because it ultimately adds kinetic energy to the masses, and it depends on the two masses that it is acting on, and it is also depending on the distance that separates them. And hence when the distance is increasing, the S2 is reducing. It's a doppelganger of gravity as such. Coming to the next pressure or space pressure, a force that is coming out of that is S3. The mandate again is bringing the masses together. This is when the masses are already in motion. S3 is not the reason for the motion of the masses. It acts once the masses are in motion, and it has two options: either to act in the direction of the motion of the masses in the system or against it. Going against would disperse the masses, and this S3 is a shepherding force. It is a shepherding force. It has to keep its flock together. So the only way it can act is in the direction of the motion of the masses in the system. And this, just like S1, is directly proportional to the mass of the system that it is acting on. And coming to S1, S2 and S3, they are not acting in isolation. When you have a system like that, each of them would be acted, S1 would be acted upon each of these masses, S2 would be acting on each of the pair of the masses, and then S3 would be acting if the masses are moving. Mandate of spacity could be to bring the masses together and act on them, but that doesn't mean that you cannot defy spacity. You can, provided you have the energy to spend. Now, when you apply the space pressure or holding pressure S1 to Earth as a mass, we saw that the pressure on the surface would be around 1,000,000 bar. Why would this holding pressure not be a crushing pressure? At 1,000,000 bar, Earth would be crushed immediately. That does not happen so because of the porous nature of the molecules that make every mass in the universe. The molecule that we see here, much of it is all space, 99.99%. The proton, neutron and the electron, when you take those masses, they are only minuscule part of it. So the square meter area that you consider of the Earth as the surface area is not right. It is much smaller than that, and hence this space pressure does not crush us. But still, how do these masses move? Because when the space pressure is acting or the moving pressure is acting, each molecule in a solid is connected to another molecule. So you act on one, other moves.